Retro anime. How did we find it? How does it hold up? Unpacking the ins and outs of being an old school nerd and proving that 80s kids can't remember a damn thing right. These are the mindless midlife musings of the anime nerd.
Welcome to Mindless Midlife Musings of the Anime Nerd. I'm Rick, and I'm joined by the rest of our panel, Lynette, Vic, and Brian. How's it going, everyone?
Hey, what's up?
All right, in this episode, we pray for forgiveness and praise Buddha as we sumo up for butt attack Punisher girl Gautaman. Butt Punisher, butt attack Punisher attack girl, butt girl got... was released in 1994 by Animate Film, Hero, and Movic, and is based on a manga by Masakazu Yamaguchi. The story follows a devout Christian, the naive Mari Yamachi. She joins the perfect religious academy, only to find her roommate Sayori Minami kidnapped shortly after. Praying to her god, Buddha himself appears before her, offering her the powers of Gautaman.
See which god first. You got to think. It's important.
He said her god. She prayed. She looked at the Virgin Mary and prayed for help. And Buddha showed up instead.
She prayed to her god, and go ahead.
Yeah, and Buddha showed up. Buddha showed up. I loved it. I wrote the line down because I thought it was great. Buddha shows up and he's like, "Hey, how's it going? I'm Buddha." Man. She's like, "I'm Christian. Isn't Jesus here?" Like, it's like, "Hey, wait a minute."
Oh God, it was so awful.
She didn't get normal Buddha though. She got like drunk Buddha.
It was like stoner Buddha.
Yeah.
And we're not okay. We can recover from this. Rick, please continue.
So with the powers of Gautaman, she can transform into a magical girl who uses the power of her sumo belt to battle the evil and perverse Black Buddha gang. As the sumo garb tightens, her strength increases. Will bearing her butt be too much for the innocent Mari, or will she accept her fate and use her derriere for justice?
Okay.
That is, and I'm going to tell you right now. All right, so before we absolutely bring our devotion to the series to the forefront, I have to tell you, this is probably one of the hardest series it was to research.
Yes.
Yes.
First of all, I didn't know it was a series. I thought it was a one-off, which would have been a whole thing in and of itself. But then just like hours before we were going to record, Vic found there was another episode.
Sorry, I apologize.
It's a series.
It was a series, an OVA series. And then so we of course rushed to watch it. I don't know why, but we did. And
okay,
here we are with the
all
series.
for education.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if we've talked about this yet. I'm pretty sure we've discussed it, but Rick and Vic are my closest friends. These two wonderful gentlemen came up to me and said, "We're going to make a podcast discussing vintage anime." And I was like, "Cool, let's do this." I'm here to tell you right now that they have hurt me. It's at this moment now that I decided that I'm questioning our friendship. Because if friends like this can bring this into my life, Andrea, how freaking dare you?
I figured if one of us had to suffer, all of us need to suffer.
Right. So a little perspective on this is a very infamous sort of anime meme that's made its way around the internet. The character is, you don't even know who the character is in the meme because she's upside down and her cheeks have caught a samurai sword between them. And it is, that's it. That's the meme. And it's made its way around the internet for a few years. It was something that we never really put any effort into learning about. But then for some reason, it's just, I guess it was an off day. And we said, "Hey, what the is this?" And
it fit the criteria, everything.
And we paid the price.
It fit the criteria, everything that we would. It's vintage. And by vintage, meaning it was made in the 90s. He said 1994. It's anime. Can't deny that. And that's really our criteria for the
We
show.
have a very low bar. Very low bar.
And here we are.
I feel like we need to raise it now because I don't think we can let more
I
of
had
this
no
one
idea.
through.
We did this to ourselves, but you two did this to me.
This is obviously parody. It is intended as such, but it's really bad parody. Like there's excellent parody. Look at Mel Brooks films, which are excellent parody, and they really
Project Echo.
Project Echo A+, fantastic parody work. This wants to be that, I think. Boy,
Okay, so the comment I've been just sitting on forever, it's as if someone wanted to make Project Echo. They took out the sci-fi, they added religion, and then they ordered it from Wish.
Man, it's
like,
yeah.
He said or Alibaba.com. Yeah.
God, it was bad. Oh.
So it took me 4 times to try and start this anime. Because the first 5 minutes of it is this exposition dump about this religious academy where there's all these different religions coincide, which in and of itself is
called Perfect Religion Academy.
Yeah, a perfect religion academy, and everyone, all these different religions coincide, and this devout Christian girl is going there, and I'm just like, what? Just wait, what? And it only goes off the rails from there. Like, it was a hard premise to get behind at the beginning.
Ugh.
And then it just really goes off the rails.
Like, as a Christian, I found myself like, who am I rooting for? I found myself in the middle, like, all right. So we grew up in the 90s. In the 90s, we were exposed to so much stuff, and all this time, the entire time we were hearing it, we were saying, this is a gateway drug to this. Or if you listen to Ozzy Osbourne, it's a gateway to worshiping Satan, right?
Right.
This is the first time I could say there may have been something to that. Because
I don't know. The only gateway this anime was is a gateway to stop watching anime.
Yeah.
So when this started, I thought out of the gate, I'm like, okay, they're doing a Keiko Kamen kind of thing. And for those of you who've ever seen Keiko Kamen, the anime came out, I don't know, probably around the same time. I'd have to go look, but that's based on an older manga, and it's a superhero style character, very reminiscent of this in the sense of that it's a schoolgirl who dons a costume to fight evil, and the evil is the people running her school. This is very much the same sort of premise. The difference being that Keiko Kamen predates this story a few decades, or a decade at least. This Keiko Kamen is from like the book is from like the 70s, and then the anime came out in like the early 90s. And she is naked from head to toe except for a mask, gloves, and boots. So her whole
we're talking about Keiko.
Yeah, Keiko
Yes.
Kamen. So when this started, I got a lot of those vibes because it's very silly. It's an absolutely absurdist anime that's parodying a genre. And I thought, okay, that's what they're going for with this. Only they really sucked at it. Like, really sucked at it. And the religious angle was brave of them.
Well,
Hey, can I say my thought?
Yeah.
As much as they brought religion into it, that was not the only sin of this film.
Oh no, they have many a sin to answer for in this. Culturally, religiously, socially. So her new roommate picks her up, and they hop in her little motorcycle deal, and they head back to her school, and you find out that her roommate Sayori is a Hindu. She's Hindi. Hindi. And she's like, "Oh, I'm a devout Christian," and I'm like, "Oh, you guys are gonna make great roommates." So they she basically immediately gets kidnapped by the self-proclaimed Black Buddhas.
The Black Buddha ninjas.
Just gonna wait for that to set in. So then the Black Buddha kidnapped the Hindi girl, in front of the Christian girl and take her away. For what remained to be seen, there wasn't particularly a motive there other than to get her naked, which they didn't even manage
Get her
to do.
naked and force conversion.
That's right. Thank you, Vic. I see. That's how horrible the plot was. I couldn't even remember the basic principle. Want to force convert her to their religion because they're an evil cult. For some reason, is operating out of this religious school. Because why wouldn't it be? So they're trying to force convert her, and in her dread, her friend being kidnapped, she prays to the Virgin Mary, and Buddha shows up and gives her the sumo belt of power. Best thing I can come up with. Best way to describe that. So anyway, there's lots of absurdity. Again, this is intended to be parody.
So they meant to do this.
Yeah, a lot of this is intentional. I don't know if it's all intent. I can't give them that much credit. I don't think they're that clever.
No.
It's meant to be funny.
Some of it I laughed out loud of, like when they said, "Get in here, brainwashing demon, scary newspaper man." I was like, "Oh, that's just a great name," because of course that's what you would name your horrible minion character. It's just
all the demons were evil brainwashing demons for whatever reason.
Brainwashing demons.
brainwashing demons. So shit like that.
And none of them were actually demons.
Turning so red.
No, they were Scooby Doo bad guys.
100%, every one of them, because every one of them was a student in like a facade. Student brainwashing demon, scary newspaper man was
with the exception of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Octopuses.
Dude, we
Octopi.
will get there. We will get there. Mind your tongue. That cut a little too deep. Gotta get there. That is.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Can we talk about the transformation? I don't.
Yeah.
Every time I saw it, I got more confused.
They were very much going
the
for a Sailor Sentai kind of thing.
It was like a dental floss spewing turtle? That was.
Was her shoulder? Yeah, it ended up being her shoulder pad.
It was a spider turtle.
Piece of armor. The one piece of armor and the whole getup. She's basically in a bustier and a sumo.
With a string of pearls. You can't forget the string of pearls.
Not gonna play. Why are you? Look, come on, man. I refuse. Look, you guys have been doing this for the last couple of episodes, and I'm stopping it right here. Stop ruining the name of wonderful things in our life and call them for what they are. It's not a bustier. It was a sports bra. I mean,
it wasn't even a sports bra.
It wasn't, man, because it had cleavage. Like the top of her, it was definitely pushing the girls up, and they were.
But it's not a bustier.
It wasn't. I don't know what it was. I obviously.
It was my first mistress outfit, is what I wanted to call it.
We'll go with that.
It's a part of a kit. Oh, good Lord.
It was a Dollar General. It was a Dollar.
It's so great because it's so bad, right? She's got this turban on and this like 1990s cyberpunk visor.
Hey, keeps her eyes safe from lasers.
Where does the turban fall into Buddha? Just help me.
Where does the bustier fall into Buddha? Where does the sumo fall into?
Where does the sumo G-string come from? I don't know. I mean, and when
believe it or not, look, the sumo G-string was the one thing I had no problem with.
She wouldn't have a problem with it.
I was okay with it until she looked like she was grabbing her crotch to do something, and I was like, "Oh no, is this one of those Sailor Moon? Is this a Sailor Moon thing again?
Venus 5 thing?
Is this another Venus 5?
Right. Yeah. So there are times in this where it feels like that's what they were doing. I feel like maybe they were parodying it. I don't know. So they got her girlfriend, not girlfriend, her roommate. Sorry, spoilers.
Mhm.
And
Are you sorry? Are you sorry?
Oh, not even a little.
You did on purpose, didn't you?
I loved how bad this was for a number of reasons, but I loved stupid. like brainwashing demon scary newspaper man used completely folded up newspapers as throwing knives. Like,
Yes.
it's not like playing cards like the Joker, like actual knives. No, it's an entire like Miami Herald, and he throws the goddamn things and they stick in the wall.
That artist played Paperboy too many times on Nintendo. He was like, I'm gonna make this real life because I loved Paperboy.
Oh my god. Again, there's it's so bad, right? So again, a lot of this is played for humor. And Buddha floats in and he's telling her weakness in front of everybody, and they all just kind of stop and like, hey, I don't know what we should do with
That's not the first time he does it. That's not the first time.
No. Every big fight, he comes in and says, "Did you know if you do this, she dies?"
Like, seriously, this is like if Jor-El came in and said, "Hey, look, to let you know this, if you really want to beat them, there's these green rocks over there. Check it out." That's what it is.
Right, but the way he does it, it's like, hey, make sure those don't come off because you'll die.
Yes.
On a loudspeaker in the biggest microphone possible. Hey, can I say, not one person was like, "Oh, that's Buddha."
Yeah, no, everybody was. I mean, they're in the perfect religious academy. He probably shows up at the PTA
He
meetings.
gets punched through a wall like 2 or 3 times.
Like the Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah.
Like Buddha's right there. So if they're in the religious academy, they could have been like, well, if we want to figure out which one's the true God, we've seen Buddha.
Buddha shows up with some chick in a sumo diaper all day long.
That's what I'm saying.
Like the next day, they
should... Is Jesus here? Oh my
God. Yes. But it's a random question. I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to bring logic into it. When he says to take off, if you take off her sumo thing, she dies. Why do they pull up?
The same reason why guys have a hard time trying to find the clitoris. We don't.
Anatomy is hard.
Like,
Up is down, down is up, left is right, whatever.
Up, down, left, right, BA, push start.
They have like guys using their teeth running through. I'm like,
there
guys
were
are pulling up.
there were a lot of I want to call them in jokes that even the translators in the version we watched tried to help explain, which didn't help at all. And there were things that they didn't explain, like the fact that the old lady from Nausicaa was in it for like a second.
The little old lady.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
in the next scene. Yeah, in the next scene, and I wrote it down because how could I possibly want to forget the delinquent sextuplets battalion Mutsugoras.
Yes.
Show up. I'm saying these names, man.
Well, pause. Time.
Names or numbers.
I just want to make sure. How many other people were able to take notes in this?
I couldn't take it.
I had to. Because I knew there was no way I would talk about this.
This was my note.
Bottle of alcohol.
So hold on. So you weren't able to take notes. Vic, were you able to take any type of written or typed notes?
My brain was too busy trying to get a coherent story out and trying to make sense of everything that no, I did not have time for anything else.
There's nothing coherent about my notes, by the way.
So you were able to, through watching this, you're telling me that you were able to take your pencil.
Remember, he did start it 5 times, he said.
And grasp it.
This was
he said he tried to start it. He tried to start it 5 times.
This is a long slog. This is a 45-minute. Each episode's about 45 minutes. I'm pretty sure it took me 5 hours to watch one episode.
And you were actually able to actually take the notes.
For the benefit of our longtime listeners, I had to prepare them for the horrors that we had endured to save them from the delinquent sextuplets battalion Mutsugoros.
Hey,
people that listen to this will learn not to watch this. We're doing the Lord's work here.
That's right. I mean, yeah. I feel like Buddha would be proud.
The Teenage Mutant Octopi.
Yo.
The delinquent sextuplets, who are high schoolers, but apparently are, I don't know, 85 years old. They
They got the Benjamin Button disease.
yeah, they take Sayori, because of course they do, and they just start viciously beating the out of her. They're like whipping her like
Plus, the
Jesus
class
on a
just
cross.
sits there.
Right, the whole class sits there.
Because this is terrible.
Yeah, and it's at this point when the
Punisher.
Punisher attack punishing girl Gautaman shows up, and that's where the Nausicaa reference is. The little old lady from Nausicaa is in the front of the crowd at the bottom of the screen. She's got
Mhm.
little jewels in her, and she says, "The stories are real." And I was like, "Oh my god, I know who that's supposed to be."
Mm-hmm.
Her Gautaman then, of course, beats the out of the 85-year-old students.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I was not able to even catch any type of reference because I was too busy being numb.
It was an accident, I'll tell you that. It's probably the only one I found that wasn't blatantly obvious, like. So
We'll get to it. Oh,
just about
because
there. Just
look,
about
Dark
there.
Sumo Man.
look, I'm telling you now, at that moment in time, when we cross that bridge, I'm going to off. Once we get there, at that moment in time, I'm going off. And
Guess what, Brian? That's what
long-term listeners will know that I am not really the spokesman of peace when it comes to our delegation or our panel, but I'm it's like I'm expressing the patience of Buddha right now. Not Black Buddha,
His
but
sumo
green
belt
Buddha.
is tightening, though. His power is increasing. So,
Right. So please go ahead and continue.
all right. So Gautaman comes in, beats up the 85-year-old students, and saves her friend Sayori yet again, all while continuing to maintain her identity. More on that to come. So they then the principal and the staff are scheming. Go ahead.
I gotta pause on that one because it's very easy for her to conceal her identity because she's at a school where she's clothed 90% of the time.
And
So,
actually,
like,
if you notice, when she's wearing less clothing, she's taller.
Yes.
And she looks older too. Her eyes get animated smaller because they have to fit behind the cyberpunk.
eyeshadow abs on 10 inches.
So
and her My First Mistress bra makes her
right.
chest a whole lot bigger because even
honestly,
under the
nobody's-
dress.
I mean, nobody's
has
looking at her
nothing
face
there.
anyway, right? So
Yeah,
they make it
they're
a point
looking.
to let you know that they're all looking at her and I don't remember if I wrote a note on it, but her perfect white or perfect pink, I think was how
Yes,
it's
it's pink. They say
perfect
pink.
Oh,
So anyway, they then decide to enlist to figure out which of one of the students is the powerful Gautaman. They decide to make all the students wear sumo belts in class for that day. And the teacher, the instructor of this class, Brian, do you want to take this one? Or should I lead you into it? A gentleman of very large stature.
Please lead me into it.
Gentleman of very large, a sumo instructor, as it were, wearing nothing but a black sumo belt and the mask of one Sith Lord Darth Vader. We're not exaggerating here.
No.
I'm watching demon known as Dark Vader.
This is not a homage to Darth Vader. This is not.
This is not how I
No, this is nothing like. This is a mask.
look. It is his mask. It is his all the way down to the slinted visors at the bottom of below his. It is his mask. Ladies and gentlemen, these motherfuckers decided they wanted to take on George Lucas. They wanted the smoke to the point where they say the force is strong in this one.
He brings out, and I wrote it down. He brings out the dark side in the boys.
Yes.
Yo, how did this happen? How have we gotten here? How have they not been sued into oblivion?
Because they don't exist on the internet.
I was going to say, I mean, we could barely find anything out about
Protect
this.
Parody.
Like, We need to find out what George Lucas thinks. George Lucas, longtime listener. Hey, in case you don't know this, you need to get your lawyers.
Yeah,
because
we're always glad to hear from you, George. Yeah, big fan of the show. Love you, George. So yeah, I don't know how you let this one slip past you, buddy. This Darth Vader, Dark Vader sumo.
Dark Vader. Oh my God.
Dark Vader.
Yeah,
He starts.
Dark Vader sumo.
He starts tossing.
It was at this moment in time.
Smacking pants off.
It was at this moment in time when I was watching it. I stopped and I actually called Rick. I called him. I think I gave you an earful, right?
You did. You read me the riot act, and I hadn't even seen it yet, so I didn't even know what I was getting myself into. You were ahead of the curve. I was proud of you.
Man, come on, y'all.
I said, I don't know what's worse, is Dark Vader sumo or the boys being healed by the pink shiny butt.
Her shining bottom. They've come to their senses by looking at Gautaman's shining bottom, and she defeats Dark Vader with a butt attack to the chest, only to find out that he is a sci-fi club geek in a suit.
Yes, that was when I opened my drink, by the way.
That was it? Dark Vader? Dark Vader was like, it's time to start drinking now.
This is the part I wanted to this was a Christmas present that was given to me earlier this year. And it's a Lego Star Wars.
I'd like you to know that what he is showing us is an official Lego Star Wars product that says Dark Vader.
I wanted to throw this. I never wanted to destroy the packaging. I am an old school nerd. I have toys that have not opened up, but the box that this is in has been pressed because I'm going to slave it for a collector's item because they messed up.
Actually, Brian, it's not messed up. Apparently, that's his French name.
Look, it says Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
It says Darth Vader, but only one place
on top.
Darth Vader. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to collect them. And it almost died. This episode.
I'm on a quest now. I'm going to find Brian a Dark Vader sumo action figure.
Dark Vader sumo action figure.
What he's saying is that you're going to get a Darth Vader Lego head.
Yes.
Find a sumo body to attach it to.
So
yes, she brings the boys back to their senses by showing them her shining bottom and defeats Nakata from the Sci-Fi Club with an immense butt attack. Aerial butt strike, as it were, to the chest. And then, oh no, we now have her butt print. More on that to come.
Ironically, this whole thing, nobody came.
Somebody got close to the second episode. Anyway, beauty pageant time. Everybody loves a beauty pageant. So the Perfect Religious Academy decides the best way to handle things is to throw a beauty pageant. Nothing suspicious here at all. And when they bring out this obvious Toshio Mifune like parody of a character dressed in samurai garb, you just know things are going to go great. This is where the infamous sword technique gag happens. And he pull out a plaster cast of Gautaman's. He decided to get all
Mari's got him in now.
That's and then they decide to hold up girls, and I love the absurdity of how they decided to hang it on the wall. Because if you need a print
you can't rule out the fact that the first girl decided to twerk on the wall and said, "Look, I'm not gonna fit."
She tried. She legit tried. She they told her, said, "Hey, the person who fits this print is the winner." And the first girl's like, "Oh yeah, all right." She walks up. You just know she was the woo girl, and she walks up and they go in, and then she's tries. She twerks her, tries to get it up. She's like, "Yeah, I can't get it up there." So then this steroid laden beast guy picks her up, and Mifune slices slices
a circle around it,
and exposes her and crotch because her panties get sliced off too. They place her, and just like at a Willy Wonka testing the good egg, bad egg, they slap this peach on the wall and nope, sorry, bad egg. They chuck her down a chute.
So
Well, don't forget his statement. Don't move, and you might lose part of your butt. Basically, he's holding the girls, and he said, "Stay still, or you might lose part of your butt." And I was like,
oh man,
like it why didn't they make it a chair?
Brian,
question,
you're trying to add logic to this.
It's a great question. I don't have an answer for you. The absurdity of
seriously.
putting 6 feet up the wall, it makes no sense to me either.
No. Like seriously, if you're gonna do the sword in the stone, right? Wouldn't it be better to make the sword in the throne? I mean,
Oh man.
It's all about presentation, Brian.
So
They had to put the miraculous.
I gotta tell you, and probably the most
in half when she did her butt attack, so they have to fold the girls in half too.
probably the most amazing transformation sequence in the entire series. Mari looks around at her fellow classmates and decides she has to change and uses the most cunning of all secret techniques. Hey, what's that over there? And everyone turns and she changes in that moment. Nobody questioning it at all. She then defeats him. Defeats our Mifune clone with her infamous butt-catching sword technique. Probably the most hilarious gag in the anime, and it was wasted on this anime.
like this is the moment that brought us here.
Yeah, this is it.
This is the moment that brought us here, and honestly, it was a queef. It was like the most
severely underwhelming. The promise of what that could have been.
Like it passed in the wind. It was a queef. It was a.
I want to point out. All right, so this came out in '94. We had been privy to things like Ninja Scroll. I think Ghost in the Shell had just been a Street Fighter 2 anime had come out. We'd watched Demon City Shinjuku. Like we've seen so much stuff by the time this dropped. Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind, like just like massive amounts of anime. By the time this came out, these had already existed. So the bar was set pretty high. They decided, we really need to put our stamp in this whole anime genre.
Yeah.
And then they put it out and went, uh-oh. And they tried to take it away.
They have since tried to take it away. And it has not succeeded. It still memes around the internet every now and then, this very moment. And anyway, she snaps his sword with her ass and defeats him.
Which doesn't make sense because there was no fulcrum point to act.
Well, I don't know how much you know about anatomy, man, but when you are a sumo who prays to God, prays to Buddha, your muscles, your
Oh, so I'm the one
in such a way as to bend steel. I mean, I can't believe you don't understand this. Look, you used to seem like a learned man, but now I'm questioning. So this
okay,
this works is her muscular control is so taut.
The problem with me
with a straight face
teaches them to flex.
Yeah, I mean,
clench.
The butt clench. And
the problem
this was before Buns of Steel, so
no, it should have been right at the same time.
Oh my god! So we get to this. I don't know how to describe this, but the bad guy, this is the principal, because of course he is. And
no, he's the vice principal.
He's right, and he's
like the student. He's not even like the student council president.
He's got like the mask and the claw hands, and he's
he was
a student. No, I thought he was like the principal. He was a student.
He was a
student.
All right. So anyway,
he was the president of the Black Buddha Club.
So anyway, president of the Black Buddha Club, fellow, he decides he's in love with the Christian because
Matter of fact, I think we need to go ahead and say, hey, if there's any Black Buddhists out there, we are. And look, we're not making fun of you guys,
no,
but
you were horribly misrepresented in this.
you are horribly misrepresented. So please do not come for Lynette. She lives in Ohio. Don't come for her because we don't want anything bad to happen. We're on your side.
And yeah, there's no amount of Suma beltage that's going to get us to be able to help her. So
Right.
yeah, just
From Ohio.
in Ohio, 100%. So then anyway, you're revealed. We now at the end of this first episode, which we thought was the only episode, but turns out it was the first episode. We are revealed who the big bad is. It is not our mask-wearing, claw-wearing president of the Black Buddhas, who is white, Japanese. No. It is the Pope himself.
The Pope.
The Pope. The Pope is running the Black Buddhas. The Pope. There's not like a whole lot of other, but there's just the one. So when they said the Pope, they meant the Pope. So it's the Pope.
And was it me or did he look kind of like a Sith Lord?
Oh,
Yeah,
Had
shadows.
the largest collar.
You could have used the term. You could have said he looked like a bald Klansman, but no, you brought this. Unfortunately, look. Why are we bringing Star Wars back into? We have already been insulted. We've been insulted. You could have brought somebody else into this, Lynette. You had a choice, and you decided to go back to a Sith Lord. I am incensed. I'm upset. I'm joining the Black Buddhists. She lives. I lied. She lives in Illinois. Go find her.
And then thanks to our super sleuth co-show panel host here, Vic, we found out there was more to this. We thought we were done. We thought the Pope...
Look, we were coming into this about to rip up one episode.
Yep.
We were prepared. We were ready.
And then...
This motherfucker.
I apologize.
Then came Butt Attack Punisher Girl Gautaman R. Because they couldn't bother to call it 2. It's R. Why? Does it matter? No. Because they're parodying something.
Not even the second letter in the alphabet.
No, just R. Because they're doing like a Sailor Moon spoof. Right? Definitely what they're going for. So it's the final battle between love and tragedy. Because our dear Mari is in love with the student body president of the Black Buddha Club.
It felt like it was a ripoff of Power Rangers at some point.
Oh,
where the Pink Ranger with a pink bottom is in love with the Green Ranger, who's actually evil. And I'm so sorry that I did it myself.
You did.
I did it myself. I just left it. It's so easy to offend the whole microcosm of people. And I'm so sorry.
So we started this second episode. Thanks, Vic, for finding that one again. Really just A+. I do got to say that I'm glad that this exists. All right, so the first episode, by it in and of itself, if it would have ended that way, that would have been whatever. But the fact that they were able to actually sort of finish the story, I give them credit. At least they did that, because I've watched other anime that are newer that don't even get that, and you're just left with this. I don't know. It's like a teaser trailer for something that you never see. Example, Burn the Witch. I watched Burn the Witch over the winter, and there's 3 episodes with no storyline, and it just ends, and you're like, well, what are we supposed to do now? There's no series order.
Berserker, that's another one.
Right, so it happens. So they were able to actually finish this, for better or worse. This is definitely my favorite of the 2, by the way. Like, if I had to pick between these 2 flaming turds, this is the one that stunk the least.
Besides the fact of looking like a third generation VHS copy.
Okay. Let's take a moment. I like what you did there. You said between these 2 flaming turds, this is the one that stunk the least. Yeah. I think a new exercise that we need to do is go around the panel and see another way that we can say that this one was less than worse than the first. Lynette?
It was the bus that Brian just drove.
The second one was better after I finished my first bottle. I mean, I guess that's the best way to do it.
Maybe that's what it was. I was more inebriated through the second one.
Okay, all right, Vic.
These two shows are like the difference between being punched in your junk or being punched in your stomach. You know, it's like, yeah, you'd rather get punched in the stomach. That's what the second episode was.
You still got punched.
Still
At
get
least it wasn't
punched.
your balls.
Exactly. You can still walk away afterwards.
Let's say this is the difference between being punched on one side or catching both of them. You're going to be punched in the nuts. It can be a graze.
It can be a shockwave from hitting your thigh, and there's just enough to still feel it. Or it could be straight on.
Like, you know how bad this has been. This could have been worse. However, your thigh meat is taking some of this blow for you. Joyce and Beulah.
Like it wasn't a direct hit.
It starts off with these two in love, these two lovebirds who are rivals without knowing it, taking subtle jabs at each other. And then all of a sudden, our homeboy, the villain, takes his jabs at Mari, and then she feels nothing but shame and utter and complete shame.
Heated shit.
Shame.
Oh,
ding, ding.
She melts. Like a column of snow.
Yeah, they're in the snow. There's a crater from just the shame. It was just, oh man. So then she's taking a bath, and Sayori wants to come in and take a bath with her. So
make her feel better.
Most homoerotic scene in the whole series.
Can I say
in the first 5 minutes?
It's the female versions of just the tips. That's it.
Yeah, I can't even describe this to those of you listening to the show. I can't even describe this. This is like a finger four leg lock from WWF with their butts touching. It's like there's no easy way to describe how these two climb into the bathtub together. And then during this very important exposition on their relationship, where Sayori's about to come out to her and express their lesbian love, they of course have to cut to a shot of touching.
Okay.
The
some reason.
female version of just the tips.
Or can I call it the high five?
Wouldn't that be a high two?
Just a little five, just a little.
Hey. There's a certain majesty when two female touch. I would like to say, not once have either of our touched. So,
and God,
it that way.
So yes, Sayori and Mari have this semi lesbian experience in the tub together. Sayori wants to
the first 5 minutes
profess her love. Yeah, I will say that in the second episode they decided to ramp up the sexual tension like a lot more.
It's like the animation crew totally forgot about it in the first episode. It's like, oh, now we got to cram it all into the second.
Yeah, like they just we really need to kind of push this into the hentai realm. So we weren't quite there yet.
No, because clearly Butt Attack is not it.
Butt Attack was not doing it.
Honestly, the only thing I can say is that based on the juxtaposition between the two films, it lets you know which is greater, butts or and I've always been I mean, so it lets you know. I've always been a fan, and here we go. Are better. Like wings are flats for like drum.
So then comes what is where Brian's offense was Brian was slightly irked by Lord Vador in the first episode. Now they bring in and they wanted to mess with me. So they bring in what I can only describe as Teenage Mutant Ninja Octopi.
Taco.
Taco. Of course, you can't have.
The guy even has a headband that says taco.
You can't have octopi in this kind of anime without it turning into tentacle.
Yep.
That's what it does. These Teenage Mutant Ninja Octopi, there's only 3 of them, but they all wear headbands, just like you know who. and they're all multicolored, and I don't even know if they have names because I just didn't want to go there. They of course attack the student body in an effort to get Gautaman to come out. Then something really funny happens. Sayori accidentally butt bombs her girlfriend out a window, like 5th story window.
Yes.
And she's like, oh my god. As she's changing into Gautaman, she gets butt bombed out the window. And she plants onto her boyfriend's head.
His face.
His
face.
Not his
Vagina
head.
plants square onto his face from the 5th story. He is contorted into a backwards arc and proceeds to stay that way for probably
Almost the entire sequence.
It's amazing.
When she hops off, his mouth is open. It's really very
it's-
bizarre.
It's hilarious. So then she changes to Gautaman and she rushes up the stairs and she proclaims, don't worry about Mari, I've saved her. And everybody's like, oh, well, Gautaman's here. Woohoo, shiny butt. And then they bring out the Kiss Kiss octopus.
Yes.
Because there were 3 Teenage Mutant Ninja Octopi. Then they had a weapon called the Kiss Kiss octopus. Makes 4. They unleash the Kiss Kiss octopus on Gautaman's derriere. And it turns into, it starts sucking on her. There's really no better way to describe this. I don't think there is. You correct me if I'm wrong. He begins, it begins to suck on her butt to try and remove her belt.
And grows and gains strength from sucking on said butt. You have to.
and they're very clever about this parody. When it gets big enough, it's like got its tentacles all around her, and it's parodying like this old Eroge woodcutting painting thing that comes out of old Japan. If you've seen it, you'll know when you see the scene. And
you will never know. You will never know. You are never supposed to know. We have done the work, like Vic said.
Falling on the sword.
Work.
So anyway, they proceed to do to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Octopi what the Shredder in the cartoon always wanted to do to the turtles. He ate them. Cooked and ate Teenage Mutant Ninja Octopi after Gautaman successfully defeated the Kiss Kiss octopus with a bottle of vinegar.
Can I tell you, you said that you were incensed because of the fact that they came for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I was incensed because the mythological creature of choice in the James household is the Kraken.
You just happen to have one lying around, huh?
Brian has presented us with his shrine to the Kraken.
So not only that, we have had Darth Vader and the Kraken.
Yes, that they have Cthulhu-based lore. Anyway, it's they did it and it was terrible and it pissed me off. So they killed and ate the TMNO, and you're like, okay, well, party's over there, whatever. Mari is going on a date now with the man that she muffled, and they're gonna have a good time. Sayori's stupid jealous because she's got it so hard for this girl. And then they decide they want to introduce Frankenmuscle. I don't think I need to describe him to you. I feel like that's it. Everything you think that Frankenmuscle, that's all you need to know. And it doesn't go well. They don't really like Frankenmuscle, so they take him out real quick. And our hero,
exactly, he has spoken about Frankenmuscle longer than he was.
Frankenmuscle was in there.
Yes.
Now this is probably, I don't know how to really. I'm just gonna go there. The villain, the leader villain, whatever his name is, we'll call him, DJ Mask.
We'll say Toshi.
Oh, let's go with it. He's meditating under a waterfall as he dreams of his beloved Mari.
And even then, I know the part you're talking about. But before we even get that, I would say he's even meditating under a waterfall wrong. His hair should drenched.
He should have been in the waterfall, not like slightly in front of it.
You know how long
arguing
for him to do his hair? He can't get it wet. What are you talking about? Do you know how much pomade and hairspray?
Yeah, you're
Right.
talking to the wrong group.
Pantene Pro V. I mean, look. So all right. So he's waterfall adjacent. It's meditation. He's dreaming of his beloved rather than meditating properly. And for some reason, I don't know why they put it in, other than to make you go, oh, he stands up in a moment of passion, and he is engorged to the hilt.
He's packing heat.
It's like, at that moment in time, two things happened. He stood up, and the first sound I heard was it had like a little rattlesnake or like, and I swear to God, I looked down at Monsieur Kraken from me, and I was like, "You've never done that." I was like, I was having an erection wrong my whole 45 years of life on Earth. I thought I was doing it wrong.
So yeah, it's like holy raging boner Batman. For some reason, they just decided that's what they wanted to include in that moment. I guess because his passion for Mari is so great, just so great. And thus, the final battle is upon us now. Instead of going to both of them going to their dates, they decide to meet and do battle because our villain here has seen the glory of Gautaman's and found that she has a mole adjacent, and now of course he can't get it out of his brain, which hence the timber. So they meet in the forest and they do battle. And Gautaman comes out and she's not holding back. She's Gautaman punch, Gautaman kick, Gautaman whatever. They're not going well. But then he beats her, for lack of a better explanation. He
Literally, not literally.
He's got her. And he starts taking her belt off. He's like, I got you now. And he stops. He grabs both cheeks at once because he's really got to make sure of this. And he sees her birthmark, her mole. He's just
holy mole.
Caught completely off guard. And I don't really.
Okay.
You gotta all right, somebody's got to help me out here because I'm walking through this whole anime for everybody for their own sake. But did she kick him into amnesia? Or did the glory of her camel toe cure his evil? Because somehow the fight ends and then he's done. He's
hey, they say it changes a man, so
look,
he already had it on him.
That's actually the only part that tracks. That's the only part that tracks. Who hasn't ever given up to the wonderful powers of?
No doubt, but he hadn't even experienced it. Was just adjacent. It was adjacent to its presence, and he was cured.
Hold up now.
He got a face full of it.
School.
He did. You're right. He did take one to the face.
It's like a Pringle. You can't just have one.
No, I actually, again, this is the part that I actually makes sense because I've seen numerous things have made me worry about the power of the feminine form, and this is one that actually makes sense. People have given up whole lives just for the promise of it. They haven't even touched it just for the promise of it. They've given up whole lives, so it kind of makes sense. In a Romeo and Juliet,
I feel like this is where they would have ended it. That probably would have been fine. Nah.
And no. That's the problem. Because the fact after all this, we still get insulted a couple more times.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, this is a whole series of not knowing when to end it.
Mm-hmm.
So, Pope Johann the 13th, as it turns out.
Wait, you forgot the second girl on girl scene before the Pope.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Vic.
Oh, you're the one with the notes. I'm just saying, don't forget that too.
Right. Yeah. So she's
This is all for Brian's sake.
Sayori just goes all gay. She's like, I'm in. I'm gonna convert this girl right now. This shit is happening.
The reason why this happens is because of the fact that her father, Mari's father, finally shows up. We've known this entire time that her father is like a big religious person. You know, we don't know whether or not he has any position or anything, but we know that religion is very important to him.
And he is way too knowledgeable of his daughter's. I'm just saying.
There you go.
That's it. That's it. He comes in and he is angry with his daughter going around being a superhero, because when he saw that in the paper, this isn't like, oh, I got HD 4K video of it. No, this was a shot in the local student paper.
Paper meaning that a student took it.
But it's a low quality image.
It's a low.
He knew from that photo that his daughter was wearing a sumo belt and fighting crime. And he proceeds to berate her for it, scolds her, tears her clothes off, inspects her again, just to confirm he was right. Oh, man. This is like the longest 45-minute episodes ever.
Yes.
So then Sayori comes in and she's like, "Oh, your dad was here." Like, and she's like, "I can't talk about it." And she's like, "Hey, you can talk about it, whatever." Anyway, she's like, Sayori's like, "This is my chance. If I do not get that right here, I ain't getting it. So I'm going for it." So she goes in, and they proceed to have a little cuddle.
We're forgetting.
I'm not doing it justice. Go ahead, Brian.
No, Mari then lets her know that Sasuke not, or whatever Sasuke's name, Sayori?
Sayori.
Yeah.
They really could have done a better job of choosing names. Mari and Sayori.
They really help. They didn't. They put no effort in here. I do like how that happens, but it's pretty funny. She's like wants to tell her friend, but she's like, I dare not even speak it. So she's like, no, just tell me. So then she's screaming at the top of her lungs, telling her best friend her secret, her big, deep, dark secret.
And
the block knows now.
They do a great job of, and I can't believe we're saying this, but they do a great job of showing how the magnitude of what we're seeing and the graphics behind it. I wish I could tell you about it because I don't want you to watch it. I don't.
We really don't want you to watch it. Basically, it's like she yells with so much force that it echoes through time. That's the best way I can describe it. And prehistoric man has heard this cry. That's how loud it was.
For those that just missed it, or because you can't see it, Brian just spit up everything he was drinking. All over the place. Oh, God, it's disgusting.
Oh,
it's all over your chin, dude. It's all over your shirt.
Does anyone else have a better way to explain it?
You almost killed me.
Does anybody? Because that's the only way I can describe it. It
was the most accurate way to describe it.
Yeah.
It shatters through time, and yes. So of course, being the dear friend, and certainly not creeper that Sayori is, she screams back to her in loving affirmation. Everything's okay. Anyway, after that, they're cuddling in bed, and Sayori totally gets some. And for an anime like this, you'd think they would have shown it, but they didn't.
No.
They show her go in for the kill. But you don't even get to see her land the plane. What's up with that?
Fade out.
Yeah. Right.
Yo, how are you pulling these wonderful transitions out? Yo, have you, like, I'm a father, and I wish that when I was talking to my son about the birds and the bees, I wanted to tell him, man, sure you land the plane.
You gotta land the plane, man. Just don't. Anyway, you don't get to see. They don't show her land the plane for some reason. I don't know why. They decided, no, we've shown too much at this point. We're not going that far. We're gonna just skip ahead.
No need to show her landing the plane. God, man.
And
they gotta leave something to the imagination.
We are presented with.
You didn't call the ball. The pattern was not full. Ghost Rider. The pattern for nothing. She didn't land the plane. We have no idea what happened to Cougar.
No, that's it.
God damn it, sir. God damn it.
It's at this point now. Thank you for bringing me back to that because I should have discussed it. But it is at this point now that Pope Johann the 13th has gone Super Saiyan, has decided he's going to take out Gautaman himself. Shows up as the ultimate killing machine. Literally the Terminator.
The Terminator. Oh my God.
Literally shows up, as
look.
Wish version of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right? I knew as soon as I saw it, I was like, really?
Yeah, that was my reaction to
I
it.
was
Really?
rocking in my chair. I was rocking in my chair. I was so upset. I was like, you mother, this is the governor of California. And you brought him into your nonsense. Oh, you mother.
That they did in full Terminator garb.
Down to the jacket. Down to the jacket.
No, down to the exoskeleton.
Yes, right. Because once Gautaman defeats this iteration, because of course she does, it is revealed. And not only did Pope Johann the 13th transform into Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator, but that there is an endoskeleton in there too.
The actual Terminator.
An actual Terminator
Red
T800 T-Series Model 101.
Armed with something that I never thought I would actually hear or say, instead of an orbital beam cannon, it's an oral beam cannon.
And that was a boomer nod.
Exactly.
Not only was he a T-101, he had the boomer mouth. He opened up and he had a little cannon like the boomers in Bubblegum Crisis.
But he did not have unlimited bullets. Did not have
it was a 2-for-1 there.
Yeah, it was a 2-for-1. They knew they could just be two of them at once. So they did.
And can I say how they
I beg you to. Go ahead.
So Gautaman is at her rope's end, and the student body decide they're going to start helping her out. And their weapons of choice is basically like elementary school scissors.
They tickled him to death with screwdrivers.
Right. They get him on the ground and then they use screwdrivers.
They start scoring him literally.
And he says, don't cut that. Don't cut that. And they cut it. And then they start tickling him with screwdrivers. And that's how he dies.
And I wish I could say that's the last you see of him, but it ain't.
No.
Anyway. Went out of order. Because she dropped the building, and then he does the entire upper torso part, grabs your leg like in Terminator.
Oh, yeah. And then the school body comes in and does. And it doesn't matter. Don't watch these people. At the end, Sayori, her dad, earlier in that was her dad, threatens her. He said, if you ever turn into Gautaman again, I'm shipping you to another school.
Yeah, he's true to his word.
True to his word. He's going to transfer to another school. She's getting on a train, and Sayori's saying her goodbyes, and she's all like, if I don't say it now, I never will, kind of thing. And of course she doesn't. So the girl's on the train, Mari's leaving. So she's screaming at the train that she loves Mari. Feels. She didn't know.
I had an issue with that entire sequence because you see the train leaving one way, and then 30 seconds later it's going this way.
It's doing like a real quick U-turn. You know, they gotta
but trains don't do that kind of U-turn. It's like it would have just gone that way. Logic.
Yeah, and
it felt like a scene from Vampire Hunter D at the end when he's riding off, and the next you know,
right.
you see him.
He was down there, and all of a sudden he's up there.
I don't even think Japan has topography like that at all. I don't think that's the way Japan works at all.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that nothing about this is accurate in any capacity. Guys, we've run long on this. I didn't know we would run this long on this, but we have run a little long on this.
No, we're pissed off. We're pissed off.
Brian is pissed off.
It's bad.
It is god awful.
It's horrible.
Now, Brian, I'm going to ask you the hard question. You're under oath here. Is it worse than Burn Up W?
Yes.
He didn't even flinch.
No hesitation.
None.
Because that was actually going to be a part of my final thoughts.
Go ahead. Get into it. What's your final thought, please?
My final thoughts is that at one point in time, I actually felt like I was being blasphemous. You know, I'm a Christian. I don't know who I'm supposed to be rooting for. I was supposed to be rooting for, I guess, Christianity. But come to find out, Buddha's the one And then Buddha finally gets not just Buddha, but Black Buddha. So they're not even having a all-out fight between different sects between like Christianity and Buddha. No, this is really Buddha versus Black Buddha. And I was like, well, who the am I supposed to be rooting for? Man, this thing left me so many spiritual questions I'm not supposed to be having. I'm not supposed to be having. And
Giving you
it's
the existential crisis you shouldn't be having.
like the only thing that did this was like we recently talked about something that gave us what Warriors of the Wind, was that the one that gave us an existential crisis?
A Ghost in the Shell gave us an existential crisis.
Ghost in the
Yeah,
Shell.
that's the one.
Ghost in the Shell gave us like this was like a spiritual like I live across the street from a church. Guess where I'm going as soon as I finish this episode.
Just don't wear your sumo belt.
It's horrible. It doesn't stand up. It didn't stand up then. Don't stand up now. There is no time and place where you should be watching Butt Attack Girl, Gautaman. Butt Attack Punisher, Hemorrhoid Revenger. There's no point in time where Gautaman or Gatcha. No. Don't watch it. I'm going to go back on to YouTube and report this video for part because at 4,900 people, it needs to stop now. We will be the last people to watch this. Horrible. I yield the floor to my distinguished colleague from Illinois.
Yeah, Lynette. What do you think of Butt Attack Punisher Girl Gautaman?
Well, I tried to look it up. I did in private, browser because the title alone will get you in trouble. So don't, use in private browsing if you do. And we're gonna warn you now, don't do it. But I have a feeling this is gonna be like Candyman, and everybody's gonna wanna watch it, and then they're gonna get mad because they did. But there's nothing on there, nothing out there, nothing to give you a hint, you know. And then I go, well, this is because they put it out. They went, oh, this was a mistake, and try to take it back. But everyone knows the internet is forever, and they can't take it back. And I wish they could take it back because I want my time back from, from some of this stuff. But at the same time, figure we've been watching some good stuff, some crazy stuff, some weird stuff. It was about time we watched something that was so horrible that we tell everybody to run away. And I'm going to tell you guys, run away. If anybody says, let's watch Butt Attack, no. Go watch a different Butt Attack. Don't watch this one.
See if it's available at your local Adam and Eve instead. Vic, what do you got to say about Butt Attack Punisher Girl Gautaman?
So I mostly agree with everyone. Under no circumstances should anyone purposely watch this. Now, if you have that friend that doesn't shut up and thinks they know everything and they haven't seen this yet, you can always pop out with that. Hey, remember that meme with the girl that cut the sword of the butt cheeks? Here's a USB flash drive with the series that it's from. You should watch it. And then, 2 hours later, see how much your friend hates them now.
So, Vic, you're saying that people should weaponize Butt Attack Punisher Girl Gautaman and use it on their enemies.
Absolutely. Kind of how I accidentally did that earlier with the second episode, and I apologize greatly. I just found out it was another episode. I was like, okay, I'll start watching. I'll share the link, and I'll start watching it. And yeah, I felt bad.
Friendly fire. It's okay.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. We
Mistakes were made.
did it for the greater good.
No one should purposely watch it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Better because I actually, like, when I was reviewing our text messages, I was like, this motherfucker being sinister. He knew about it this entire time.
No, I didn't. I just found out about it earlier today.
No, I agree. And I can see the pain in your eyes. But man, oh man.
Oh,
So,
God,
yeah,
I feel awful.
All right, yeah. Obviously, I agree with my co-stars here. This is horrible. It's bad. It's bad, and it's just bad. It's writing, it's acting, it's animation. I didn't even talk about the animation. It's bad. Like, everything about this is D-.
Subtitles on part 2.
Yeah. Whoever the fan sub job.
So I don't.
The fan sub
I'm
job.
not gonna hold the
anyways,
subs against it, but
can't hold that against them. But I can hold absolutely everything else against it. It was bad.
No. I'm sorry. I have to hold it because we live in a world where we can pay for a translator. Don't wing this.
Right.
This is
Ryan, I challenge that. I don't think there's a subtitle group out there that's willing to finish this
or attach a name to it.
Show me the emails that you reached out for them. I need to see the correspondence. That the only result that you had to do it was to get this person, whoever did it. I need to know that you did everything possible. If I have to assume that you had options and burn in hell.
Yeah, this is really terrible. The production value is horrible. The storyline's terrible. If you're looking for something that's sort of etchy, kind of like sexual fun, like parody stuff, there's better stuff out there. If you're looking for action, there's way better stuff out there. If you're looking for just parody that doesn't involve sexual hentai, any of that, there's better stuff out there. There's better versions of everything this wishes it was out there. And under no circumstances should you waste more than a glancing pass at the internet meme of the sword catching anus. That's the only thing that deserves your time, is the sword butt catching technique thing. That's it. That's the best part of the whole thing.
Unless you really hate your life.
Yeah, don't ask how we got here. Don't ask. It's not necessary.
It's not. And I disagree with Vic. I do not weaponize this. Nobody deserves this. Nobody deserves this. It's done to them.
No.
It's nobody.
No,
you know what this is?
Like, do it.
No.
Do it.
I'm sorry. I have to admit, this does need to be weaponized. And I know exactly who I would send it to. Maybe drop it off at Mar-a-Lago.
I was going to say, Moscow, but hey.
Yeah.
No, there are certain people that need to.
The postage will be cheaper if you keep it local.
You want to be a religious zealot? You could go this route.
It is appalling. And if we were easily offended, which we are not, we are probably the least offensible group of people that you'll ever meet. You can take it.
I don't know. Brian was pretty offended.
If you get anything above our level of ability to take, to not take offense to something, this isn't for you. Because it will offend your sensibilities. It will offend your religion. It will offend your fandoms. It will offend everything.
If you have a Disney Plus subscription, you will be offended. If you have you will be offended.
If you have taste, you'll be offended.
Pissed off. If you're a fan of Skynet, you're blowing up the world. The Matrix, guess what? You're pissed off. You're going to be offended.
Right. So just don't do it to yourself. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your effort. This tried to die in internet obscurity, and we brought it back. And for that, we apologize. And we are hoping that by listening to this episode, you will help to ensure that it dies in internet obscurity again. It needs to go away. This is by far, in my opinion, the worst thing we've ever watched.
I can agree.
We need to find whatever particular cloud this is being housed on. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. We're coming for you, Google. So, folks, I just feel like that's going to be our show for today. We have nothing left to say about Attack Punisher Girl Gautaman. And yeah. So I guess just until next time, keep calm and just please remember never to watch this festering turd of a series. Like that's it. Just never do it. That's the tag.
God. I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna go with keep calm and pick out your wedgies. Thank you for letting
no. No.
No, but Lynette's reaction was like perfect.
No. Calm and never watch festering turd of it. Just don't do it. Love of God.
Which one? Buddha?
You've just been privy to the mindless midlife musings of the anime nerd, presented by Geek Grotto. Follow the podcast on Twitter at Geek Grotto. For show notes and corrections or for general geeky fun, you can visit our website at geek-grotto.com. If you would like to sponsor the show, you can do so on the podcast's Red Circle host site, redcircle.com/shows/MMMAN. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app, please like, follow, and subscribe.